Hey, what's up, guys? So I am doing the weekend preview. Yesterday was election day, and Donald Trump's pulling a Deontay Wilder today, making every excuse in the book for why he's lost and everybody cheated and all this shit. So I just find that very interesting. Sorry to go on a political note real quick, but let's get into who's fighting this weekend. So we start with, there's two cards taking place on Saturday. This is November 7th, and we got a lot of heavyweight action this weekend between the two cards. I believe 4 different heavyweight fights to talk about between the two cards, and you just have a in the main event on DAZN, you have another division, a lightweight division. That's it. So let's get into the first card on Fox, which is going to feature on the undercard, the co-feature, undefeated heavyweight Frank Sanchez. He's just staying busy against another nobody. This guy's okay. He's 15-0, 11 knockouts. He's solid. He's on the rise. You know, he's trying to make a name for himself. With heavyweights, you know, even fighting nobodies, those guys fall hard, you know. So Sanchez is decent. So check him out in the co-feature. I think he's going to get a knockout win and stay undefeated. Excuse me. In the main event, former 2-time world title challenger Luis Ortiz. Excuse me. Ortiz is still my number 6 or 7 heavyweight in the world right now. He hasn't fought since last November when he suffered that 7th round knockout loss at the hands of Deontay Wilder in a rematch. Deontay Wilder still stands as the only man to ever beat him. He knocked him out twice, but Ortiz was beating him on the scorecards both times. Don't be fooled by Ortiz's age at all. This guy is the boogeyman of the heavyweight division still to this day. Nobody wants to fight him. Nobody wants to give him a chance. I'll tell you why. It has nothing to do with Deontay Wilder. It has to do with the way he looked against Deontay Wilder. This guy is a combination fighter for you guys. He is a heavyweight who can box and punch hard, and who can take punches too. I mean, Deontay Wilder is one of the hardest hitting heavyweights of all time. So the fact that this guy was taking his shots before getting caught and hurt and put down, I mean, one was in the 10th round, the other one was in the 7th, and I think we can argue that the one in the 10th, he was out of gas. He got caught with a clean shot by the one in the 7th round. But again, he was winning both times. So he's returning after a year-long layoff, taking on Alexander Flores ahead of what he is hoping is a showdown with Andy Ruiz Jr. next year. Ruiz was also supposed to be fighting on this card in the main event. That's gotten pushed back into next year, though, I think January, February. So I'm hoping these two guys are still locking horns towards the middle of 2021 in a big heavyweight showdown right there. I would love to see it. So we'll see what happens. But I got Ortiz beating Flores, an unknown heavyweight. I got him beating him by a knockout impressively, and you know, keeping himself in the top 10 and in the mix in the heavyweight division. Now let's go to the DAZN card. We got 2 heavyweights on the undercard. I'm having trouble with this Chinaman's name, Zealand, I think, but I'm not 100% how you pronounce it. He's a Chinese star. He's 21-0 and 18 knockouts. He's fighting some nobody on the undercard. You know, he's on the rise. He's fighting for for Matchroom. So see how he does. I'm predicting a knockout win. To stay undefeated. Then in the co-feature, we're gonna see. I think it's Filip Hrgović, Croatian heavyweight, who's been being built up pretty good the last couple years now. He's 11-0 and 9 knockouts. The guy's pretty solid, got some talent. He's taking on American veteran Rydell Booker. And then that Chinese heavyweight Zealand or whatever his name is, he's fighting an American unknown heavyweight, Devin Vargas. So anyways, back to Booker and Jesus, I keep drawing a blank on the heavyweight's name that he's fighting. Hrgović. Booker's a solid, kind of stand-in, stay-busy opponent. I think Hrgović has an opportunity to knock him out. Booker recently was in with a top 10 fighter. He fought Kubrat Pulev last November. I was actually at that fight. He can take a punch. Pulev's not the biggest heavyweight puncher, but, Booker didn't ever seem like he got hurt against him, and he went the full distance, 10 rounds. So, Hrgović, it's going to be a test. You're going to see kind of how good he really is, because a recent top 10 guy who's going to get in the ring with Anthony Joshua next and Pulev went 10 rounds with Rydell Booker, So we're going to see how good Hrgović is. I'm predicting him to score a knockout, middle to later rounds, stay undefeated, and keep pushing forward towards something bigger. And now finally the main event on DAZN on Saturday is going to see the paper lightweight champion Devin Haney, undefeated, prospect. They're calling him a champion. He didn't do anything to earn that belt. I have nothing against Devin Haney outside of his big mouth. He talks way too much, and he hasn't done anything. So he's returning as the paper champion, the secondary champion in the WBC. He has a belt. He's taking on Yuriorkis Gamboa, the former unified featherweight champion, and also 38, 39 years old now. I believe in Devin Haney's talent. I do. But I got to see it on display against the top 10 lightweight first. So I think Haney, this is a joke of a fight right here, to face a 39-year-old fighter who doesn't deserve a fight like this. He's doing it for name recognition and to shake off rust. But, I don't agree with the opponent selection. Gamboa, I give him all the props in the world. He's been one of my favorite fighters over the past pretty much a decade. He's entertaining as hell. He's fast. He's got pop, good boxing skill, but he's past it. And I don't want to see him get hurt, but in this one, he's probably going to get knocked out. I think Devin Haney's going to knock him out in the early to middle rounds. It possibly could go to the later rounds, but I don't think it will. And Devin Haney will retain the WBC regular world title at lightweight, 135 pounds. It sets him up nicely for a possible showdown with the winner of Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell, who's fighting for the interim belt on December 5th. So, as long as he wins, he'll finally get his big crack against the winner of that fight, and I'm looking forward to it. But for me, a win here for Haney is not going to break him into the top 10, but he still needs to be impressive to prove, or to show everybody that he's still there and he's got a name and there's a reason why, and just to look good to build up a bigger fight later, like with the winner of Garcia and Campbell. If he looks bad, it's not gonna be good for him. So that's it. That's the Saturday, November 7th weekend preview. Saturday preview. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True boxing. You've been hit with the truth.